Welcome to part 1 of the explanation video for the 2023 Opportunity Class Thinking Skills exam, containing worked solutions for questions 1 to 15. This paper can be accessed via the New South Wales Education website. Jumping to question 1. Ing and Finn first met on a Tuesday. They met 8 days later. They then met for the third time 4 days later. On which day did Ing and Finn meet for the third time? So we can start by using the letters I for Ing and F for Finn, and they both met on a Tuesday. So T for Tuesday, they both met here. It then says they met again 8 days later. So I'm just going to jump with my days. I'll put a TU for Tuesday. We'll do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And we'll see here 8 days later. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They met again on this Wednesday. So they met again on this Wednesday. They then met for the third time 4 days later. So I'll put my Wednesday back here. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'll just go up to Monday. They met 4 days later. 1, 2, 3, 4. They met again on Sunday. That means our best answer there is D, Sunday. Okay. Jumping over to question 2. After school, Cecilia likes to visit her favorite juice stand to buy a drink. The stand sells 4 types of juice, which are available on different days. Cecilia does not like apple or orange juice, but she will visit the stand as long as she can buy a drink that she likes. So she does not like apple here. We've underlined that for you. Apple or orange, she does not like, meaning if I take out apple, and I take out orange, she prefers lemon and grape juice. That means she will only visit the stall on Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and Friday. If there's 5 days of the week, we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and she only visits on these 4 days. Remember, we've got Monday twice here and here. She visits on a Monday. She visits on a Tuesday from grape. She visits on a Wednesday for lemon. She does not visit on a Thursday because Thursday is the day that only orange and apple juices are sold. And she does visit on a Friday because grape juice will be there. So she does not visit the stall on a Thursday, meaning our best answer is C. Moving on to question 3. Nick wants to learn to speak the Wiradjuri language, but he thinks it will take him a long time. Madika suggests a solution. You should spend some time in Wagga Wagga. There are plenty of people there who can speak Wiradjuri. Which one of these statements, if true, best supports Madika's claim? Students must understand that to answer these questions, we must first figure out what this is, Madika's claim. It's their job to summarize what her claim is in just a few words. And if we take a look again, her solution is that spending some time in a place where there are lots of people who can speak this language, she thinks that spending time in these places will allow us to learn these languages. So we're looking for spending time in these places where the language is spoken means we can learn the language. Okay, looking at our solutions here, we're looking for answers which bring us to the conclusion that spending time in these areas with lots of people speaking this language will allow us to learn the language quicker. So A says Nick can travel to Wagga Wagga fairly easily. This does not matter as it is not relevant to how spending time allows us to learn the language. Reading B, Learning a language always takes hard work and concentration. Although true, learning a language and its hard work and concentration does not have anything to do with this word time here. So again, this answer is irrelevant. C. Madika has learned to speak 3 different languages. Although she has learned to speak 3 languages, we don't know if she actually used this method of spending time. She might have used different methods, and that means that her current claim is not being supported. So it's not C. D says, languages are easier to learn if you practice speaking them with other people. Now this option relates to our answer of spending time with other people who know the language to learn it. So that's why D is our best answer. Spending time with others who know this language and who speak this language will allow Nick to learn to speak the Wiradjuri language in a shorter time. That's why D is our best answer for 3. Question 4 was a spatial awareness question which required students to match up these options from 1 to 6 into pairs to make 3 layers of a cube. That meant that students had to recognize kind of how to mix and match these different shapes depending on how they fit with each other. So, if we look at 1 here, it's got this big kind of inwards dent there that we hope some other shape can fix. And if we look at our different options, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, we'll notice that the only option with a big kind of segment is C. So we can draw that 1 and 6 will be paired together. This assumption already means that we can cross out options A and option C because our answer must have this pairing of 1 and 6. Moving on, let's see what 2 fits with. 2 has this long segment here that's missing. So we're looking for options 3, 4, or 5 to have a long segment that will fit in. After evaluating those 3 options, we can see that it actually fits in with 5. So 2 and 5 go together, and that's seen again in option B. And just to confirm, we're looking that 3 and 4 work as well. So as you can see here, this little medium-sized segment fits in accordingly here, meaning that 3 and 4 are pairs as well, making sure that B is our best answer for question 4. Question 5 needed us to read a claim made by a character and see the mistake they've made in their judgment. Simon is watching a news report which claims that nearly a third of Australians go swimming regularly. Now, Simon says, that can't be true. I almost never go swimming and neither do any of my friends. So he says, remember this statement was for all Australians, whereas Simon and his friends are not apparently going swimming. We're looking for the options from A to D that shows that Simon has made a mistake. So Simon says, this statement that a third of Australians go swimming must not be true. Let's see what he has made wrong. A says, Simon may prefer other forms of exercise such as running. Even though that may be true, it does not relate or answer the claim about swimming. Even though swimming is exercise, we are not talking about running. We need some specificity about swimming. B does talk about swimming. B says, swimming may have become more popular in recent years. Although this solution does talk about swimming, it does not talk about the current kind of stat. So this statistic that a third of Australians go swimming means right now. So we're talking currently that a third go. This one is talking about recent years. So we may come back to this one. C says the news report that Simon is watching may be incorrect. This would not be a mistake with Simon. This would be a mistake with the news report. D says Simon may live in an area where there are few opportunities to go swimming. This could be true, as although Simon is assumed to be an Australian, him and his friends may live far away from no beaches or no swimming pools, and that must mean that he does not have an opportunity or have many opportunities to go swimming. So picking between B and D, this fact, we must assume that the statistic is current. So it does not matter if this swimming has become more popular in recent years, because this thinking is a current thought. D is our best answer for question 5 because Simon may not live in an area where there are lots of opportunities to go swimming. Question 6. Staff at a wildlife hospital are building a structure to house sugar gliders. Sugar gliders are this creature pictured here. The structure has 3 levels, one for food, one for a water bowl, and one for a hollow log that a sugar glider can use as a nest. If the food is on a lower level, let's make food here, then the water bowl, and the log is higher than the food, which one of the following statements must be true? If the log is higher than the food, that means it must be either here or here. The log could be in 2 places because we don't know whether it's higher or lower than the water bowl. Using this diagram here, we should go through our options and see which one is our best answer. A says the middle level has the log. If this was the case, that would be correct. The middle level does have the log, but we don't know where that log is, so it's not going to be A. We can't be certain. The lowest level has the food. Well, that's certain, even regardless of if this is the right setting or if this is the right setting, food will always be on the bottom, meaning that B is our best answer. Moving on to question 7. John is collecting a set of toy robots based on his favorite television program. The robots come in different colors, and John still needs the red and green robots to complete his set. The local shop has an offer where they will sell any of the following packs of 3 robots for $10. So as you can see, we have pack 1, 2, 3, and 4. John has a friend who has a spare green robot and will swap it for a pink robot. So remember, from here we can see that John needs a red or green robot, but his friend will swap any green robot for a pink robot, or the other way as well. So he will swap green or pink for pink or green. Which pack should John buy to be able to complete his set? So that means we need to find a pack in which there is definitely a red robot and either a green or pink. Even though John doesn't want a pink robot, he is happy to swap with his friend for a green robot. So let's take a look. Pack 1 here, we do have the red, but we don't have this green or pink combination. So that's why the answer cannot be pack 1 and it's not going to be A. So we can put an X there, not going to be A. B says pack 2. Pack 2 does have the red. Oh, and we have a pink as well that can be swapped for the green. So then John would make this pink green. So B is looking like a pretty good option right now, but we'll see the other ones as well. Pack 3, we do have the green. We don't need the pink anymore because we've already got the green, and we don't have a red. So that's why our answer can't be C. And if we look at option D there, pack 4, we have the pink which can be swapped for a green, but no red. So that is why our best answer for question 7 is B, pack 2. Moving on to question 8. A scientist, Melanie, is trying to figure out why the number of fish in a nearby lake has decreased over the past year. So Melanie has this lake, and in that lake, the number of fish has decreased in the past year. Melanie says, The lake has become more polluted over the past year as well, so it must be the pollution that is causing many fish in the lake to die. So Melanie is drawing a relationship between pollution and the decreasing number of fish in this particular lake. Let's go through the options and find out which one of the following sentences shows that Melanie has made a mistake. So Melanie's idea that pollution is the cause of this decrease in fish numbers is wrong, is what we are trying to find. Let's read A. The number of fish in other lakes might not have decreased over the past year. So this option is talking about other lakes. We only are concerned with this particular nearby lake. So option A is not going to be a good answer because it cares about other lakes. We want to talk about this particular lake. So in this lake, in the lake here. So it's not going to be option A. Let's look at B. Pollution may also cause health problems in humans. Although that statement may be true and is true, we are not concerned with the health problems of humans. We are concerned about this here, the number of fish decreasing. So although this might be true, it's not talking about what we want it to talk about, which is the fish. So B is not our answer. Let's look at C. The number of plants in the lake might not have decreased over the past year. Again, similar to B, this could be true, but we are talking about plants when we are concerned with fish numbers. So C is not our best answer either, because it doesn't talk about fish numbers and why they're decreasing. Let's look at D. More people may have fished from the lake over the past year. If we go back to what Melanie is saying that the cause of decreasing fish population is pollution. So we need one of these four options to say it's not pollution that's causing it, it is something else. So D talks about this something else and talks about overfishing. So when we fish too much, overfishing as the alternative cause as to why Melanie is not correct, because we care about breaking down Melanie's argument here. So it's not pollution, it's overfishing that's causing the decreasing numbers. So if we take out too many fish because we're fishing, then our population is going to decrease. So our best answer for question 8 is D. Moving on to question 9. Some students are growing flowering plants by different windows in their school and keeping track of when they bloom. So we've got students, they're growing flowering plants and keeping track of when they bloom. The students put a geranium in the canteen, so let's first put this here. We've got G for geranium in the canteen. We have, G for guppy plant. Let's use GP for the music room. We have let's underline that as well. We have a wax plant. Let's call that WP, which bloomed before the guppy plant. So over here, just on the left, I'm going to put an arrow saying bloomed first and bloomed last. And I'm going to use these letters here that I've written. So the wax plant, they chose for the school hall. School hall, let's add in room here as well. So that's school hall, bloomed before the guppy plant. So I'm going to write wax plant, bloomed before the guppy plant. But after the bromeliad in the library. So let's put this one in here. Bromeliad B in the library. Okay. So this wax plant bloomed after that bromeliad. The geranium bloomed on the same day as the plant in the school hall. So what plant was in the school hall? That's the wax plant. So the geranium bloomed on the same day as the wax plant. Let's do /G for geranium. So we've done this one as well. One of the plants bloomed a day before any of the others. So although this was useful, our answer we cannot derive from this box. We actually need to come over to this diagram here, and we need to see which plant bloomed first in front of all of the other plants. So bloomed first up there and last down here, and B stands for bromeliad. So our best answer for question 9 is D. The bromeliad bloomed a day before any of the others. Moving on to question 10. The 16 shapes in set 2 shown below should be identical to the shapes shown in set 1. So this is set 1 on the left, set 2 on the right. And we've got our 16 shapes, and apparently all 16 shapes should be found identically in set 1. How many of the shapes in set 2 are not identical to a shape in set 1? So let's start by looking at this box here on the right, set 2. We need to match set 2 shapes to set 1, and let's tick off the ones as we see them. So I'm looking for this shape here. Tick there because I can see it. Moving on to the next one. This shape, I can't seem to find this second shape, so I'm going to leave that one blank. Or actually, I'll put a circle around it. The third shape here, I can see it. There. The fourth shape here, I can see it. The fifth shape, I can see it up here in the corner. The sixth shape, again in the other corner. The seventh shape, take a look. I can't seem to find this one, so I'm going to put a circle around it. Let's fix that circle up. And the trick with this question is that we weren't allowed to rotate our shapes. We had to keep the shape in the same orientation and kind of position. So moving on to the 8th shape, I can in fact see it. The 9th shape I can't see, so I'm going to give that one a circle. The 10th shape, again I can see it up here. The 11th shape, again in the bottom left-hand corner. This shape here, again I can't seem to find, so I might give this one a circle as well. Moving on to this shape here, the L, I can find it in set 1. The next shape, I can't seem to find, so I'm going to give that one a circle. The next shape I can find, and the 16th shape I can find as well. So just double checking that all of these circled ones I'm not able to match in any of the remaining shapes in set 1. Perfect. So if I add up my circles, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 circles. So 5 shapes in set 2 are not identical, not found in set 1. So my best answer for question 10 is D. It was important to start with set 2 and match to set 1 for this question. Moving on to question 11. A gardener is giving advice about taking care of plants. He says, some people think talking to plants is strange, but it's actually a really good idea. After all, you're more likely to remember to water them if you treat them like friends. Which one of the statements below, if true, best supports the gardener's claim? So the best strategy for these kinds of questions is to quickly jot down what the claim is, just in a few words. So the claim is that talking to plants is good because we are more likely to remember to water them, and that's it summed up. So talking to plants is good because we are more likely to remember to water them. That claim also has the support that it's essential to water plants and that it's good to water plants. So let's see which of these options best support this claim. Option A says, people often notice details about a plant's health when they are talking to it. Now this is a good option and could be our answer based on the fact that it talks about a plant's health. So watering them, their hydration status or how much we water them is very essential to the plant's health. So watering kind of links into that theme of health there. So it could be A. So this claim that talking to plants is good. So we notice when we talk to these plants, we notice these plants and may pick up small details about their health. So it could be A, just draw an arrow, but we need to go through the other options. So B says, some people believe that plants can understand what people say to them. Does remembering to water them relate to humans being able to understand plants? No. So watering them has nothing to do with understanding the plants. So option B is not going to be a good answer. Let's look at C now. Talking to plants won't help people avoid overwatering them. So what does overwatering mean? Overwatering means when we put too much water to a plant, give too much water, and we actually may harm or kill this plant from giving it too much water. Although this statement C may be true, it doesn't support this claim that it doesn't support the gardener's claim that we are more likely to remember to water plants if talking to them. It actually doesn't even mention, so it does say talking to plants, but it doesn't support. If anything, it kind of diminishes and makes the claim seem less believable. So this one does not support. It weakens the argument. Talking to plants won't help people avoid overwatering them. That weakens, so doesn't match our answer here, supports. So it's not going to be C. And D says, talking to plants is a very old tradition. This may be true, but it does not talk to us about how the claim is being supported. So the claim that talking to plants is good, even if it might be a very old tradition, the gardener hasn't said it. So the gardener has not said anything about it being old. So our best answer for 11 is A. People often notice details about a plant's health when they are talking to it. So when talking to the plant, we may remember we haven't watered them, and we may water them so that they can be healthy. The best answer for 11 is A. Moving on to question 12. 4 friends are in a car together. There are 2 seats in the front. Let's quickly draw them in. 2 seats in the front and 2 in the back. Let's make these a little bigger. Caitlin is either driving or sitting beside Talia. And we know that Talia is sitting behind the driver. So let's use our normal setup and say that this is the driver and that the car is facing this way. Might draw that arrow over here. Okay, Talia is sitting behind the driver. So this is going to be Talia. And we know that Caitlin is either driving or sitting beside Talia. So Caitlin could be here, but Caitlin could also be here. Let's put a question mark because we're not too sure which position Caitlin sits in. Jimmy is not sitting in the back. So if Jimmy is not sitting in the back, he must be sitting here or here. So Jimmy, let's put those question marks in, could be sitting here, but he could also be sitting here. He could be driving. And he is not sitting beside Andrea. So reading the last bit of that sentence, Jimmy is not sitting in the back and he is not sitting beside Andrea. We know then that Andrea must be sitting in the back. So I'm going to get rid of the K there and put A-N for Andrea, because if Jimmy is not sitting next to Andrea, Andrea must be sitting in the back. So with one of Caitlin's potential options gone, we can take this J out and make Caitlin the driver, and that leaves Jimmy sitting in the passenger's seat. So who is driving the car? The best answer is Caitlin. C. Caitlin is driving this car. Moving on to question 13. In a word game, players make words out of letters. Each letter has a value that is a whole number that is at least 1. So whole number means no fractions and no decimals. So our smallest number is 1. and there's no zeros either. The score for the word is the total of the values of all the letters in the word. For example, the word to scores 4, to scores 6, hoot also scores 6, and that scores 7. Now, with these questions, it's important to kind of visualize how this looks. So if I put in my 2 like that, and I know that this equals 4. The smallest kind of value, numerical value I could give to a letter would be 1. So if this could be 1, that means 4 minus 1 is 3. So I need to make 2 O's equal 3. And we can't have fractions. I can't make this 1.5 and 1.5. So I know now that my t value is not going to be 1, but instead, just using the guess and check method, my O value is going to be 1. So 4 minus 1 minus 1, so if I write that here, 4 minus 1 equals 2, leaving 2 for my t value. Just next to our answers here, I might quickly write a little key for us. So we said t was 2 and O was 1. Okay, moving on. So we've done 2 and we know that it equals 4. Let's do the other 2 now. So I have T, W, O equals 6. Now what values do we already have? We know that T is equal to 2. I might just quickly make these equal signs. So we know that T equals 2, and I know that my O equals 1. So if I reverse this quickly and say 6 minus 1 minus 2, that equals 3. So I know now that my W value must be 3. Just checking again, 2 plus 3 is 5, and 5 plus 1 is 6, so that does make sense. So we've done 2 equals 6. And my new value that I have here is that W equals 3. Okay, let's do the next word. The word hoot also scores 6. So if I just write out my letters again, hoot equals 6 again. I know that my O is going to be 1 and my T is going to be 2. And let's flip this backwards. So 6 minus 2 minus 1 minus 1. That's going to be 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. So we've got here that H also equals 2. It's important that students didn't fall for the trap that we're not allowed to have the same number for 2 letters. So as you can see here, you can in fact have 2 letters having the same numerical value to it. So let's get rid of that. Okay, so we've done hoot equals 6, and let's do the word that. So that equals 7. T, H, A, T. And we've been told that this equals 7. So I'm going to put my T value, which was 2, and my H value, which is also 2. And now I'm going to flip this backwards. 7 minus 2 minus 2 minus 2 equals 1. So that means my A value equals 1. I'll put that in my key over here. So again, we have O and 1 having the same numerical value, which is okay. Sorry, O and A having the same numerical value. And that means we can finally use our key to figure out what the score is for the word Thor. Might come on the left here, T-H-A-W. If we add them all up, we have T is equal to 2, plus H is equal to also 2, A is equal to 1, and W is equal to 3. If I add this up, that's 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 1 is 5, and 5 plus 3 is 8. Meaning my best answer is C for question 13. So the word Thor has a score of 8. Question 14. Iluka wants to buy a sandwich. He is currently waiting in the queue at Sliced Bread Sangers. So this Sliced Bread Sangers, let's call that SBS, is a sandwich shop. Iluka says, Sliced Bread Sangers always takes 15 minutes to make my favorite sandwich. But the Loafing Around Bakery, let's call that the LAB, down the road always takes 10 minutes. Okay, so Sliced Bread Sangers always takes 15 minutes to make the sandwich, whereas LAB takes 10 minutes to make the sandwich. So when we're considering how long it takes to make the sandwich, LAB seems to be 5 minutes faster. It takes less than 5 minutes to walk there. So now we've been told that we also need to consider how long it takes to go there, to actually walk to this shop. It takes less than 5 minutes to walk there, so I should head to Loafing Around and then I'll get my sandwich sooner. So if it takes less than 5 minutes to walk there, that means, say it takes 4 minutes, 4 plus this 10 minutes would be 14. Whereas this Sliced Bread Sangers is always going to be 15. So in that case, I guess it is faster to get my sandwich at the LAB, Loafing Around Bakery, because I'm always going to be at least 1 minute faster in this bakery. But we need to find out where Luca has made a mistake. So I just explained Iluka's reasoning to you, that he always thinks he's better off going to Loafing Around Bakery compared to Sliced Bread Sangers because of that 1 minute guarantee. He'll always be faster at Loafing Around. Let's read through our options and see why he's made a mistake in his thinking. So A says, SBS may make better sandwiches than Lab. That's true. They could make better sandwiches. Maybe it's taking longer because their sandwiches are better. That's true. But we only need to consider time. Iluka is only worried about time here. He doesn't really care about the quality or the taste or how big the sandwich is. He's concerned about how long it takes for him to get his sandwich. So A does not talk about time in any way, so it's not going to be A. B says Sliced Bread Sangers may have a wider range of sandwiches than Loafing Around. This again could be true, but we do not talk about time. Option B does not consider time, not going to be our answer. Let's look at C. The sandwiches at Loafing Around may be more expensive than those at Sliced Bread Sangers. That again could be true. The cost of the sandwich does matter in the real world, but Iluka is only concerned about time. So for the same reason as why A and B are not our correct answers, C is also wrong. Time needs to be considered for the best answer. Let's look at option D. The queue at Loafing Around may be longer than the one at Sliced Bread Sangers. Now, this is a great option because it's going on to the time bit here. So imagine SBS, Sliced Bread Sangers, has no queue. So even though it does take 15 minutes to make, you could be out of that store in 15 minutes. Compared to Lab. If we go to Lab and it takes 10 minutes to make the sandwich and I've walked for 4 minutes to get there and the queue is another 10-minute wait, it's now going to take me 24 minutes because of that queue. So option D is our best answer because it talks about time. The queue at Loafing Around may be longer than the one at Sliced Bread Sangers, meaning that I have to wait longer, and meaning that he might not always want to head to Loafing Around because he may not get his sandwich sooner if there's a long queue. So our best answer is D because the queue does talk about time. So our best answer for question 14 is D. Question 15. May and Kira's class is due to go on an excursion to an observatory so they can look at the stars through a big telescope. So we have two characters here. We have May and we have Kira, and they're going on an excursion to an observatory. The only children in the class who are not going on the excursion are the ones who need to play in the soccer match. So we have a soccer match. So everyone should be going to this excursion, and the only children not going are the ones who play soccer. So going means they don't play soccer. or they don't play in this match. So let's say don't play in this match. If they're not going to the observatory, that means they are playing. Let's separate that. They are playing in this match. Now let's read what Malian and Robin have to say. So let's make that there. Malian says, May does not play soccer, so she must be going to the observatory. Malian is correct. So remember, if we look at the right-hand column here, May does not play soccer, so May is not going to play in this match. She fits this first criteria here. She's not going to play in this match because she does not play soccer, so she will be going to the observatory. That's correct. So we know that Malian is correct. Now, Robin says, Kira is not going to the observatory, so she must be playing in the soccer match. If we look at this here, not going, that means she must be playing. So if Kira is not going to the match, she must be playing in this soccer match. So Robin is also correct. Both Malian and Robin are correct. So C is my best answer for question 15. And with that, with question 15, this wraps up the end of part 1 to the explanation video for the 2023 Opportunity Class Thinking Skills exam. Please locate part 2 to view the solutions for questions 16 to 30.